Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Big Chonis. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you guys can find me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. These are all my best ideas. I take technical analysis very seriously. I'm a crypto trader, an investor, a mentor, a chart psychologist. Please do your own research. You guys remember this tweet I put out back in August? If you are holding alts or plan to hold your positions, ask yourself what the crypto market would look like with Bitcoin sub 5,000 or much lower, or ETH sub 150 or much lower, and how would your alt bags be? How much would your alt bags be worth then? I wasn't trying to scare anybody then, and I basically said not all coins are created equal. And since that tweet, which was a month ago, Ethereum is closer to 150 for sure than Bitcoin is to 5,000. And listen, we have taken some pretty bad beats here in Bitcoin, and alts have been just kind of bleeding out quite a bit. Now, currently, we're watching this price action here to see if we are putting in any kind of a trend change here, because I do like this volume profile here. I like these wicks here. I'm on, just a short time frame here, but we're just watching when we get bought up to other areas. When we break bearish, we see what's being getting bought up. And even though we're still holding this very tight lane, we're starting to see, I feel, some bullish signs here, at least short term. Let me pull up a couple other indicators. Yeah, we're all good here. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to hide my Bollingers here, and I just want to talk about, the EMAs that I like to use. Make this bigger here. Perfect. And we're looking at, our second bull cross. We actually had one. Actually, we had two. We had one here, and then we had a little one here. We did this, and then that broke bearish. And then so we're doing a third attempt at a bull cross here on EMA 12, EMA 26. And we're getting very close to our 55. Now, the last time we didn't actually cross our 55. It was actually rejected here. And that rejection, that non-bull cross of my lower time frame EMAs with my higher time frame EMA, basically allowed this kind of bearish drop here. And what we were watching here is we were able to put in a higher low when we bottomed here about 61.41, and higher low than here, higher low than here, and now a higher low than here. So we are continuing to put a higher low in while we continue to put a a lower high in. So we're getting close here to the termination point of our apex. How's that sound? This isn't that hard, but from, let's give it the full benefit of the doubt here in terms of spacing here, and the full benefit of the doubt here in terms of spacing here, just going wick to wick. And we could definitely have several more days here of this sideways price action here. But people are starting to get antsy here. We're watching semi decent movements here. Like, again, I'm on the hourly chart here. We're getting back up here to our Stoke area here. We can be up here for several hourly candles, even with a bull break. I do like our RSI continues to climb, and it definitely is not falling precipitously, and putting in higher lows as well as that gets tight. I am noticing our chalk and money flow here, where you're kind of looking for a continuation and a hold over the zero line. We failed to do that in this move here. However, we are holding this support area here. As long as we can keep doing that, then we can keep trying for another bullish attempt. So still a little lagging here on the chalk and money flow, but overall we're starting to see a little bit of bullishness here. Now, I want to bring up our 4-hour, and now I'm going to bring in my Bollinger Bands, because we see how tight they're getting on the 4-hour chart, and that is noticeable because the last time we got decently tight here, we actually had a very volatile move in the market, as we all remember there. So once again, our 4-hour Bollingers, kind of see a little bit of there, are getting very tight here, and we have a rejection, we have our support here, and something's got to give. Now, normally with our 4-hour chart, we tend to see that when we break bullish or bearish out of it, we at least hug it or not outside of the boundary line for at least one or two candles there. So, but as we get tighter here, that actually allows the price action to be outside the candles and not be in an oversold or overbought condition. Thus, here, because we were so wide, it allowed the candles to be, or so because we were so tight here, this drop allowed them to be riding the down angle there. We have basically found support here on our lower BB here, and we actually have not even touched our upper BB since way up here when we were actually still a little bullish for a very short amount of time there. So as we broke here, we found support here, and now we've been slowly riding up, okay, our lower BB as we keep moving on here. And that's what we're basically watching here. Now our RSI, okay, trickling higher here, okay, we're at 47, and we're basically trying to get above 50 here, and that is going to be the area here where we actually might have some sort of a trend change going on here. We're also watching here our stochastic, again, slowly angling higher here, potentially prepared for another move higher. And look, we're also putting in higher lows here, which is definitely very interesting as well. And our 4-hour Chalkin looks a little better. We're actually tightening in this range. We are holding above our zero line here, but you want to get, above our 0.2 area here, which was actually our major rejection double top the last time. So that's where we're kind of aiming for on the 4-hour chart. Now our daily, let's pull this up here. So we're watching our daily here, and we're basically seeing a lot of wicks here on both sides. Now, every time we've broken bullish, we've basically had a decent sell-off, and our bear breaks have actually kept the wicks going too, and our body is basically tightening here. Now, we did this. Didn't we do this like a couple weeks ago when everyone was trying to figure out like what's going on here? We had these long wicks up. We had a couple long ones down, but we kept a very tight body closing, and we're doing that kind of once again there. So if we can keep building on this, this is way we can actually climb a little higher here. Now on our daily, our first EMA that would be hit would be at $6,500. And that area there is going to be very interesting because you see how it was actually a very strong resistance area back here, holding many candles and wicks down until it actually was able to break bullish there. So once again, and we also see when we were able to break bullish, we were asked after we had hugged our EMA 12 for several candles here. And now we've been so below it here, we haven't even gotten there yet. So I would see this as our first major target just because of how strong it acted as resistance here. Just to even get there as kind of that first step there. Volume is, it's consistent here. We're not really seeing much in terms of anything, although I am liking this wick so far, and we have, 4.5 hours left in this daily candle to complete here. Our daily BBs are a little wide here. So again, that could bring in a move that could pull these a little tighter here because currently they are pretty wide still. The other thing we want to look at here is the stochastics are angled bullishly. Now, remember last time we were pancaked for quite a while. We began to angle bullishly, and then we actually began to actually get some momentum here. So we're doing something very similar here. Very similar pattern. Tiny bit stronger than the last kind of thing we did here, but still we're right there again in a place where we used to be, where we had seen that before. And we're just going to keep watching to see if this pattern continues, because that's what actually made it happen and brought us bigger, move in this overall stochastic pattern there. So we're definitely angled in the right direction there. That's kind of what you want to see. Chalkin is still rising on our daily. We did find support in this area here, which was acting as resistance here, which is good. And we're slowly beginning to angle higher here. Again, we want to get to these areas here, the 0.2, clearly that's our area we keep butting against. And listen, a second tap, rejection, a third tap, wiggle, wiggle, and then we can break through that. That definitely can be a possibility. This could be setting up for that, little cup and handle here as well. So something to watch as well. And I mentioned RSI at 40. Yeah, this is kind of the thing I don't like, is that we're still pretty weak on our RSI here. We haven't moved a lot in terms of our price action. But our RSI hasn't moved that much as well, which is good in the sense we have more running room, if you will, to kind of keep this moving forward and actually create some sort of a momentum move similar to what we did here to actually bring us higher. Granted, we'd like to see something like this, which really shows the very strength here and what we can see of a more bullish move than this, which kind of was very staggering until we were actually kind of the last couple candles there really confirmed that last little bit of bullish move there. So we held at 35. We're currently finding support at resistance at 40, and that's the ideal area there. We keep watching. And remember, on our weekly chart here as well, we have this very tight wedge that we are putting in here that is finding support here and could put in one more tap up at our top line here, which could give us one little bit more bit of bullish momentum. And that's where kind of that actual battle of what happens next can be achieved. And that basically coincides with this angle we've been watching here. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Let's see better in log scale here. Oh, Bollinger's. There we go. Auto. Boom. Okay. So, resistance, 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 support, support area, support area, support area. We're definitely putting in a higher low than the last time we hit our support area, but we did that here as well, right? So low, higher low, 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 higher low. And if we do find support here, again, that could angle us back to do another test of this line here, depending upon how long that takes, how much sideways action we go through with resistance, rejections here along the way. That could be anywhere from, still as high as 7K, all the way down to, again, about $6,500. But that would take us well into October, November area. And I don't know. I mean, do you think we can really get that tight into this completion zone of our apex and kind of basically determine, what happens here? Now, again, this is a bearish pattern still. We keep hitting an area down here. We keep the same area more or less as the support. This same area here more or less is our resistance. These are normally continuation patterns, just the way this is currently set up. But, certain things, items, news events, what have you, could definitely change the pattern. It's bearish because we have all our EMAs are currently still above our price. We got some encouragement the last time we had a little bull run here where we were able to find support on our EMA 55, break through our EMA 12, and then our EMA 26. That was the death knell in this move here, And again, we were able to break it here, here, and here, but not here. And that basically shows this move was actually more bearish than all the other bullish impulses here. So this is our weekly candle here. We still have several days obviously left. Little spinning doji guy right there. In terms of any kind of a little mini tweezer, I mean, yeah, kind of, sure. I mean, we had something like that here, right? We went bullish. Had something kind of like that here. We went bullish. And we kind of have something like that here so far. But we'll see how this week turns out because a lot can happen in a couple days here, and the wicks will be very important. It would be nice to get bought up. Remember, this was a brutal candle we went through last week, just absolutely brutal candle. So the fact that we're able to, climb up it a little bit the next week isn't the craziest idea. And you see how much lower we are from our EMAs, which acted as a lot of support, and those are still basically above 6,600 area and such, falling. And again, it's about how this price action moves, because you don't want to have a bear cross when my lower EMAs go through my larger time frame EMA, the 55. That would be bad. So to prevent that, we can trickle up and basically try and retest the 55 at least as resistance on the weekly, again coinciding with that 6,600 area. Let's see where we are on the Bollingers in terms of the weekly. So, remember last week it was our middle BB that kind of killed our rally there. We're still very spread out, relatively speaking, but you can clearly see we're getting closer now. We're finally allowing this tightening here, and even though we have several more days in the week, this volume is very low here. Again, lower volume can still be bullish because it basically symbolizes that a lot of the sellers have basically dried up, and that's something we kind of keep an eye on. So even though we're still in this downsending trend here, we still have, there's a reason to still be made. There's a case to be made for, another test of this line here, resistance line at some point. And this line has been, very strong. I guess it probably should be red. And maybe we'll just make it solid for a moment here. And this has been our support line, and it's been, strong as well, but in a different way. And am I lagging a little bit here? Hope not. So, these are the things that we're basically watching. Oh, there you go. I'm lagging, aren't I? All right. So, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully I'm back a little bit. Yes, maybe. Okay. So, short term, we keep in this tight range here, but if we keep testing these upper areas long enough, look at this. This is actually decent volume, bull volume coming in, and we're not getting a lot of selling. We just want to see more continuation. Now on our 30-minute, low time frame, again, we're trying to spread out our Bollinger. We're trying to spread out our EMAs, find some supports there. What kind of change here? This is a nice bottom here actually in our OBV. So we're actually showing some signs of people that are actually holding now in a slightly different way. See this here, and then see this here. It's almost the complete inverse. So that's actually another little short-term bullish sign here. So we're starting to trickle higher, and we're finding some support, and we're just finding that after so much blood in the market on the alts and other coins, and Bitcoin's strength and stability through this, maybe it actually can kind of withstand a lot of this drawdown in the market and kind of set the stage for some more support and try and move higher. We can just do a quick one on, and listen, everything else is pretty much in the red here, but we're starting to see, this is a nice, on the 4-hour candle, this is a decent looking bounce here on Litecoin, a better one than this one, the inverse bar we had here. This here with a nice V bottom, we had that in the RSI. We see our Chalkin. We see it also in our OBV. Okay, it's a nice V bottom there. Means we're actually buying and we're holding. And there weren't a lot of sellers sub 47.50 area there. Okay, we're also wide on our Bollingers, which gives us a chance to go a little higher. Middle BB in the 4-hour. 5280 area. Again, if Bitcoin can keep moving up here and breaks bullish, Litecoin will definitely as well. And then I'll end it with Ethereum here. Oh, look at that, 180. So we actually have a nice 4-hour setup here where we basically have several candles here where we were not prepared to sell anymore. Double wicks here. Okay, a bottom hammer, 4-hour, and then a nice green buying candle here. We've gone up about what, $10, $11 since, so 5% since the bottom here. It's a start, right? It's a start. So we're seeing, again, more signs here that at least some of the selling has been exhausted here. And that's something that we're going to keep an eye on. All right, guys, I think I'm lagging again on the computer. I apologize for that. It's been a rainy day outside, and I think it's messing around with my internet here. But I'll keep you guys posted through the rest of the day. Oh, I do want to just end on one quick thing here. Currently, I don't see any gaps in the Bitcoin CME futures chart. We did have 2 recently, and they were both filled. This one here at 62.84, and then this one here at 62.29. So those are good to go, and no more gaps currently, but they are created every once in a while when there's a big move in price or big moves happen when the market is closed. So thanks for joining me, guys. Remember, you guys find me on Twitter. Please reach out to me on DM or email me, bigchonis@gmail.com, if you have any interest in my mentoring program. And until then, I'll talk to you guys soon.